Luka Doncic has teamed up with LeBron James in Los Angeles, but what if they spent their entire careers together? Today we'll be finding out as we send a rookie Luka Doncic back to 2003 to join LeBron on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Which means NBA history is about to change drastically, already starting in season 1, as Luka was having an impact everywhere on the court, from scoring the ball, crashing the glass for boards, or setting up his teammates for assists. And on the other hand, LeBron was leading his team in scoring, while continuing to dominate as only a rookie, winning the Rookie of the Year, establishing himself as the better player over Doncic so far. But don't count Luka out entirely, cause he has 22 years to prove who's the GOAT in this duo, and to do so we'll be tracking their regular season and finals MVPs to determine who shine brighter in their careers. Although for now we can be certain this duo is going to make strides for a long time, already in season 1 making the playoffs, which Cleveland failed to do without Luka. And despite running into Jason Kidd and his Nets, who were quickly ending the Cavs season, this Cavs team was still showing promise. They may have lost here, but this could become the greatest duo of all time. But to prove that, they're gonna have to pass Bill Russell's record 11 rings, which will be one of a few side quests to include matching the duo of Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen's 2 three-peats together as a member of the Bulls, and finally surpassing Kobe and Shaq's near perfect playoff run in 2001 to complete all 3 goals to establish themselves as the undisputed best duo ever. But for now, our stars are still early in their careers, yet they were improving rapidly, building on their first season and now averaging each over 20 points a night in 2005, leading the Cavaliers right back to the playoffs. And this time they had an easy warm-up against the Chicago Bulls led by Ben Gordon, where LeBron took over the series entirely and led our stars to their first playoff win together, setting the stage in round 2 against the Miami Heat, led by Dwayne Wade, another young star in the league. And while round 1 was expected that Cleveland would win, this round was the opposite and was gonna put the Cavs to the test. The combination of Wade and Shaq was a duo in the conversation for best in the league as well, and they would give the Cavs a run for their money, taking a convincing 2-1 lead in the series after 3. But this ironically could be just what this duo needed, because in the face of adversity, both of our stars were completely breaking through their limits to an even higher level, playing the best basketball of their careers for the remainder of the series, taking the next 2 games in a row before closing out the series in dramatic fashion.
Looking to the front court.
Here's LeBron.
James, catch, fire, ball game! He did it! LeBron James wins it for Cleveland!
And now they have officially carried this poor Cavs team to the conference finals, and the media was in a frenzy with the buzz following Cleveland. But unfortunately, they were about to run into an all too familiar foe, as the final hurdle was the New Jersey Nets. And they were about to hold the Cavs' Hollywood type of run here. It was simply too big of a difference in experience and depth for the Cavs to compete, and just as quickly as they got here, they'd be leaving 1 round short of the finals as New Jersey prepares for the NBA Finals. Can't even be mad about this one. It's only a matter of time before they go all the way. And in order to take that step to push this team further, LeBron James was elevating his play to match the best players in the league, catapulting his scoring to a new career high and leading the way for the Cavaliers to the franchise's best record ever, and the success couldn't go unnoticed. LeBron earns our first MVP in this challenge, looking like he's better than Luka so far, but I would not count Doncic out anytime soon, because while LeBron led the charge in the regular season, here in the playoffs, Luka was taking full control of the team, leading the group in points, rebounds, and assists, running through the top Eastern Conference threats, starting with defeating Miami after 6, and then going up against the New Jersey Nets for the 3rd season in a row, and finally getting things figured out to overcome this major hurdle. And then lastly, with their 2nd straight Eastern Conference Finals appearance, playing the 76ers, they would make a statement by ending things in a sweep to earn the Cavs' first ever Finals appearance, but they were about to face one of the league's best players.
I believe he's the 2nd greatest foreign-born player behind Hakeem Olajuwon.
Legacy, obviously one of the greatest pure scorers we've ever seen.
One of the most
all-around skilled basketball players we've ever seen.
Nowitzki and his Mavericks were waiting for the Cavaliers in the finals, and they were the hottest team in ball with an MVP caliber big man leading the charge. However, Cleveland wasn't going to let up on their great run so far this year, and LeBron and Luka would continue their high-level play. But even though they took the first meeting of the series, there was a glaring issue at hand. Cleveland's offense may have been nearly unstoppable, but their defense was far from being tooled to slow down Dirk. The Cavs' bigs were slow in comparison to his shifty moves, and their fours were too small to deter his shots, and as a result, he would not only put them up 2-1 in the series, but heading into the final stages of Game 4, he was hitting clutch baskets every trip down and would position the Mavs for a chance to go up 3-1 unless our stars can save the day. They may have made it to their first finals, but the Cavs are down 2-1 at risk of going down 3-1 on the road here if they do not pull this out down 2 in the final 90 seconds of this game. Luka Doncic with the ball. I believe that's Jason Terry and him. Throws it down low to Ilgauskas. I was not expecting Ilgauskas in the clutch. What are they doing? Dirk the rebound. Jason Terry now. The Dallas Mavericks have an opportunity to extend their lead if they can pull this off. You have a one-on-one. Is this Devin Harris? Anderson Varejao out the foul. Wow. Devin Harris did split the free throws. They're up by 3 now, but there's still plenty of time left. LeBron James with the ball. You need to score now. LeBron, the turnover. Jason Terry, they're off to the races. Devin Harris again. Devin Harris, the lay. Luka Doncic deters it. A minute remaining in this game. You have to go quick. No time for any more mistakes. Luka swings it to LeBron. The screen from Ilgauskas. LeBron drives it in, blows by everybody. LeBron dunks it to get him within 1. We've seen a couple of mistakes here in these final moments, but these players are young. They're probably nervous in the biggest game of their career. Can they get a stop here and take this lead? Devin Harris does pick and roll with Dirk. It's not an option. They get it down low to him, though, somehow. A tough play. It's off. Drew Gooden forcing a stop on Dirk. 35 seconds left in this game. Luka Doncic, the biggest possession of their pro careers. LeBron James, he's blown by everyone in open lane. LeBron, a lot of contact, no foul. He loses the rebound. They foul. Wow. Van Horn did end up hitting both free throws. If you're Cleveland here, I think you can go for the quick 2, but you're going to need a 3 eventually more than likely. Luka Doncic with it. The smaller Jason Terry on him. Luka finds a wide open Hughes. Larry Hughes ties the game. The unlikely hero Larry Hughes may have just saved the Cavaliers NBA season. 15 seconds left in this game. Jason Terry with it. The Cavaliers can get a stop. This one may go to overtime, and they will have a chance to possibly win this game. Jason Terry, Luka guarding him. An illegal screen. An illegal screen. The Cavaliers may have just gotten saved. What an insane roller coaster ending here in these final moments. No timeouts for Cleveland. 5 seconds left. LeBron, you have to go quick. He's going to hoist a deep one. LeBron got it. LeBron wins the game. Cleveland wins. After LeBron sunk his second playoff game winner of his career already, Cleveland spirits were on top of the world, and as for the Mavs, their morale may never recover after the miraculous shot. Because going back to Cleveland for Game 5, LeBron was carrying that momentum into the next game, blowing out Dallas to take the 3-2 lead, and in Game 6 on the road, while things would be much closer this time, the results would still be the same.
It's over! It's over! Cleveland is a city of champions once again. The Cavaliers are NBA champions.
And as our stars win their first ring, they are making progress towards their first side quest of catching Bill. And also with LeBron winning this year's Finals MVP for his Game 4 heroics, he was extending his lead over Luka. But Luka wasn't going to let that deficit grow much longer, because the very following season, he was taking it upon himself to make up for not winning the Finals MVP that he thought he deserved, resulting in him putting up his absolute best numbers of his career so far. With a career high in not only points, but also rebounds and assists, all enough to average a triple-double for the season, and unsurprisingly being crowned as the league's MVP this year, shrinking the gap. And with LeBron also nearly averaging a triple-double, it goes without saying that this Cavs team would be in contention to repeat. Sweep the Bulls in round 1, and then also with a sweep in the second round against the Pistons, there could be a possibility of beating Kobe and Shaq's 15-1 postseason. But unfortunately, the Heat was still 2 games in the conference finals, ending the team's hopes of that. But what there would be hope for would be a possible three-peat in the horizon. Because in this year's finals, up against the San Antonio Spurs, LeBron had a chance to rewrite NBA history against a team that swept him in real life this year. Now with the help of Luka, this would be a completely different series, and in the end, LeBron was getting his revenge quickly after 5, and will go on to be titled as the Finals MVP again, as the Cavs win their 2nd straight. But the possible three-peat wouldn't be so easy. And the reason for that would be apparent come the 2008 conference finals against Boston's Big Three. Of course, headlined by Kevin Garnett, the monstrous two-way tandem and most physical player in the league, their all-star sharpshooter Ray Allen, widely considered as the best shooter, and finally the team's leader, Paul Pierce, an elite scorer for the past decade. So clearly, the Cavs would have their hands full here as they attempt to three-peat. But the superstar duo wasn't giving up anytime soon, both taking on the entire brunt of the responsibilities for their team, doing literally everything on the court in an effort to overcome a Boston super team, but it sadly wouldn't be enough. Even with as great as they were, it just wasn't enough firepower to compensate for the rest of the team being entirely underwhelming. And as they fall 1 ring short of their first three-peat, this could be the start of a downhill spiral for our protagonists. Because despite the next 2 seasons being incredibly fruitful for our stars, in particular LeBron, who won the MVP in both 2009 and 2010, taking a massive lead over Luka now, but ultimately still facing the struggle of matching up with Boston, completely taking the spotlight off the MVP seasons as the Celtics defeat the Cavs the following 2 years and forcing our duo to question their future in Cleveland if they're ever going to overcome this super team. And of course, to do that, our stars will be taking their talents to South Beach, joining another superstar level player in Dwayne Wade and one of the better bigs in the league right now in Chris Bosh, creating easily what will go down as the greatest team ever formed at this point. And both Luka and LeBron were loving every minute of it, feeding off of their new team's talent, leading to a 70-win season and some hardware for Luka. Another MVP for Luka, and he deserved it. This is one of the best NBA seasons probably of all time. Averaged a triple-double with nearly 30 points a night and a member of the 50-40-90 club. Unbelievable way to kick off the Miami Heat era. And as we head into the postseason, you'd be a fool to think a 70-win team was going to face many hurdles on their way to the finals. And such was true for this Heat team, working through each of their opponents, only losing 2 total games in all the series, and earning themselves another trip to the NBA Finals, where they'll be preparing for another matchup with Dirk Nowitzki and looking to rewrite NBA history even more. Because while Miami lost to Dallas in real life, now they had an extra star who would be making all the difference in Miami, flipping the script here, which led Luka to rightfully earning the Finals MVP, now closing within 2 of LeBron's lead. But as we've seen in the past, these 2 stars feed off of each other's accomplishments, looking to follow it up and match the performance themselves. So it was no shock that the very next year, LeBron was having one of the best seasons we've seen from him so far, putting up numbers that should easily warrant an MVP selection. But you can't give it to him just yet, because you also have to take into consideration that Doncic is continuing to average a triple-double year in and out, and has clearly shown to be in a league all of his own with Miami, leading to him eventually stealing the award from LeBron, earning his 3rd of his career. And with all that said, it now leads us to this season's final, where up against the OKC Thunder, Miami was crushing them to open the series, not giving up a single lead in the first 2 games, taking a commanding 2-0 lead in the finals, which to this point has been standard for this playoff run, now having won 14 straight and 2 away from surpassing Kobe and Shaq's record. But in Game 3, the Thunder were retaliating back, still hopeful to not only stop the Heat's perfect season, but also confident they can still win this finals, and they would have a chance to claw back, with the score tied late in Game 3 and only moments left on the clock. Miami has won 14 straight in the playoffs, 2 away from a flawless postseason run to outdo Kobe and Shaq, but they have to hang on with just over a minute left, up 2-0 in the series, tied game. Luka Doncic, Westbrook defending him. Luka nowhere to go, goes in a post, the post fade, and it rims out OKC the board. Kevin Durant now has an opportunity to give his Thunder the lead and keep their season alive. Katie, that's way too easy. Flows by everybody, the 2-point lead. The Heat ended up taking a timeout coming off that huge Durant bucket. I don't know what they drew up there. Russell Westbrook, Gordon, Luka. It's looking like it's Luka again. His drive draws the foul. That's like a flagrant 8. Oh my goodness. They didn't end up reviewing it for a flagrant. I think it could have been, but Luka nonetheless ties the game. Durant now, LeBron James sticking him. 43 seconds left in this game. The great defense from King James. Durant is going nowhere. He's getting the screen. He needs some help. LeBron trying to recover. He gets there. Katie, the tough pull-up. It's off. The Miami Heat the board. They're not going to take a timeout. They're pushing the pace now. LeBron James, Kevin Durant sticking him. They're going to Luka again in the clutch. Luka coming around the screen to pull up Jay. The lead. Luka delivers. What an unbelievable shot for Luka Doncic, keeping the perfect postseason hopes alive. OKC coming up the timeout, down by 3. They have enough time to go quick if they want. Kevin Durant trying to go somewhere. LeBron not giving up. Durant, the tough shot, the board for the Heat. Luka, the ball, this could do it. The Thunder are out of timeouts. Luka hits both free throws. As long as they don't have some kind of a miracle here, this one is over. Durant all the way at the hash. It's off. It's off. The Miami Heat are winning. And as the Heat blow out OKC to win Game 4, they close this out in a sweep, officially completing their first side quest, outdoing Kobe and Shaq's huge accomplishment. And as Luka continues his Heat reign with another Finals MVP, our duo would look ahead to make progress on another goal. Because the next year, the Heat were right back in the NBA Finals, this time against an old Kobe, Dwight, and Nash, which realistically stood no chance against the Heat, who just 1 season ago broke the record set by Kobe in 2001, and now this season would be crushing Kobe's aspirations for Ring 6, as LeBron James leads the charge to defeat the Lakers en route to earning a Finals MVP to go along with his regular season MVP this year, reclaiming the lead over Luka, and of course making progress, not only on matching Jordan and Pippen, but also still on pace to pass Russell, especially as the Heat show no sign of slowing down. Especially considering the next season, the biggest story around the league was that Durant won the MVP, as opposed to one of the Heat's superstars, who would ultimately have the last laugh, winning their 4th championship in a row easily, with another Finals MVP in the hands of Luka Doncic, closing out the Miami Heat tenure. Because this story is shifting back out to Cleveland, where our duo would be joining some new stars like Kyrie and the inside-out offensive threat Kevin Love rounding things out. And if you thought the Heat team was unstoppable, you haven't seen anything yet, because this Cavaliers team was in an echelon all of its own, especially when you mention that Luka was cracking the 30 points per game mark for the first time on his way to his 4th MVP, matching LeBron again. But there was still an even bigger story at hand. That is easily the greatest record of all time. I think, needless to say, this team is going to dominate. And so the Cavaliers were storming through the eastern half of the playoffs, much like they did in real life without Doncic. So now with this season's MVP on their roster, they were making their way to the NBA Finals just like real life, and that wouldn't be the last thing to stay the same. Facing off against the Warriors yet again, kicking off would be an epic rivalry, or at least what you may think would be, but this time around things were much less intense in the matchups between these teams. As of right now, Cleveland was the clear-cut better team, and there wasn't room for discussion. Luka's addition to the teams was continuing to make a drastic difference, and these finals were ending just as quickly as they began, with our duo winning their 5th straight championship and the Finals MVP flipping back and forth again, with LeBron winning it here. And this era with the Cavaliers would be a bit repetitive, so let's not waste any time. Back in the finals against the Warriors, again for a rematch in 2016, they were picking up where they left off, except this time the Warriors were putting up more of a fight, with Klay Thompson having multiple big games to keep the series competitive. But in the end, the Cavaliers were just too much, and Luka and LeBron were winning a 6th straight championship. And with a run like they've been having, it was beginning to look like this team may never lose again. But there was one player about to put an end to all of that. With Kevin Durant joining the Warriors and making his way towards the finals, this was about to be a major problem. Because for the first time in his simulation, Luka wasn't going to be enough to turn the tables in a finals that LeBron lost in real life. And despite the extra production, this was still a very one-sided matchup. Golden State simply had far too much firepower, and Cleveland didn't have the defense to slow it down, nor the offense to outscore them, leading to the Warriors not just winning in 2017, but also again in 2018, which would result in an end to the Cleveland era. I thought maybe they could compete with the KD Warriors, but that team is just way too good. Honestly, pretty uneventful run for the second stint in Cleveland. And our stars' new era would take place in new threads as a member of the Lakers. In the back end of our stars' careers, well into their 30s now, but both still finding ways to produce at a high level. Surrounded by young athletic talent, Luka was finding more opportunities than ever before to boost his assist numbers, which would go on to be the most in the NBA this season. Likewise, LeBron was finding great success scoring the basketball. With plenty of solid shooters and defenders on this roster, he was able to conserve energy and had plenty of space to get good looks, kicking off his LA tenure with his highest points per night since Miami. And even though this year's MVP was going to the Greek Freak out in Milwaukee after a great season, Luka and LeBron still had something to celebrate after earning the second seed in the West. But the problem was that in the Western Conference Finals, the same hurdle of the last 2 years was in their way. Only this time with a more well-rounded supporting cast, there was actually a possibility that they could contend against the seemingly invincible Warriors, and after LeBron and Doncic combined for 72 points in Game 1, they'd be stealing one on the road, and their underdog story was in full force with the media supporting LA. But unfortunately, that was looking to be a red herring. And in typical fashion, Charles Barkley's prediction was wrong, because the Warriors were rallying back into the series, winning game after game in an eventful gentleman's sweep. And as they lose here, now is a good time to review our goals, because with only 5 more seasons to play, there wasn't a lot of time left for falling short in the postseason, which was easier said than done, because there was some new talent forming to challenge them very soon, and Doncic and James were getting old and wouldn't be winning any more MVPs in this simulation, so the pressure was on. But they were about to get an MVP caliber teammate of their own, which of course would be Anthony Davis, who the Lakers would trade for, and we all already know how dominant him and LeBron were together. So now when you add a playmaker of Luka's caliber to the mix, this big three was one of the best we've ever seen, with Doncic's numbers benefiting nicely with the new pick and roll partner, opening up the floor for him and his teammates, and the Lakers' record as a result would benefit the most. And as they faced the Miami Heat in the NBA Finals, the same matchup as real life, history was repeating itself here, with the Lakers being in full control. And even though the Luka and AD pairing was a thing of beauty, it was still LeBron James receiving the MVP to take the lead late over Luka. And at this point, it was clear as day that this Lakers team was about to be a handful for the rest of the league, as seen in 2021, with them steamrolling past every matchup with hardly any resistance. That is, until the NBA Finals. Because with Giannis and the Bucks waiting, with the best defense in the NBA, they may have met their match. The Bucks defense was built perfectly to match up with the Lakers' best players, and that defense was turned into offense on the fast break, taking a 1-0 lead in the series with a blowout win. Luckily for LA, the Big Three was able to rally back in the following game, stringing together a near perfect game by each player at the perfect time, leading to a tie series on the road, but it wouldn't be lasting long. Going to their home floor for games 3 and 4, the Bucks counterpunch was twice as powerful as the Lakers in game 2. Backed by Giannis looking completely unstoppable on the court, the wins would be just out of reach in both games, giving Milwaukee the big lead after 4. I am honestly shocked, but the Lakers may have met their match unless LeBron could come back down 3-1 again. And even though they would go on to prolong the series and give fans hope by winning a tightly contested Game 5, it was only a matter of time before the Bucks closed this one out, winning the series after 6 and giving our stars only 3 more years left in the sim, meaning they have to be absolutely perfect from here on out if they're gonna complete their goals. But the good news was that they'd be right back in the finals in 2022, but the bad news was it was against a familiar foe that gave them issues for years. And it was looking like history could repeat itself, as Durant was averaging over 30 points a night in these finals with a sense of deja vu, but now something was different. Our duo had some serious help, with Anthony Davis now in their lineup, and with Brooklyn not having any notable rim protection, this one was actually over very quickly, putting the Lakers back on top and keeping the goals alive. And as Anthony Davis earns the Finals MVP this year, LeBron was still sitting in the lead as this one begins closing out. But Luka wasn't out for the count just yet, in the following finals averaging a triple-double against the much smaller Trae Young, who brought his Hawks to this pinnacle. The mismatch from Doncic was proven to be all the opportunity he needed, executing on it, eventually being named this year's Finals MVP, now tying everything up with LeBron. Meaning now as the Lakers make a 3rd straight finals, everything was on the line. Passing Bill, the three-peat, and even the competition between our two stars. But as Milwaukee has a 3-2 advantage in the series, with the lead late in game 6, anything was possible. This is our duo's last season in the sim, so it's win or go home right now. This could all end. There's a lot on the line up against the Bucks, who are the last team to defeat them as they are a member. The Lakers, Luka drives in on Dame, draws the foul. Hitting both free throws, he ties it up. But like I was saying, there's a lot on the line. The three-peat, the championships versus Bill, the competition between Luka and LeBron, all rides on this game right here. Giannis driving it in, nowhere to go. Lopez trying to find something. Vanderbilt with the steal. Anthony Davis is ahead of the pack, but Luka decides to slow it down. He's got the smart Damian Lillard on him. Luka Doncic trying to give his team the lead. The spin move, the wide open lane, the floater. It's good. The 2-point lead. Milwaukee now on the other end. Damian Lillard trying to win his first NBA championship. Gets it down low to Giannis. Giannis lost the ball last play. This play, he sells again. The board, Anthony Davis. AD's taking matters in his own hands this time. Reeves, Austin Reeves, the pull-up. Not a good look. Not a good look. The Bucks the board. 68 seconds left in this game. Connaughton kicks down low to Giannis again. Giannis this time is no good again. Giannis is ice cold in the biggest game of the season. Anthony Davis, LeBron James in the corner. LeBron driving it in for Lopez. His block is there. 80 the board. He kicks out of LeBron. Austin Reeves. They're slowing it down finally. Vanderbilt with the screen. Reeves, another pull-up. Jay. Reeves is off. Vanderbilt the board. Luka for 3. Bang! Luka gives them a 5-point lead. What a sequence for the Los Angeles Lakers. All those offensive rebounds, all capped off by Luka Doncic 3 to extend the lead of 5. Milwaukee's got to score here, or the Lakers may be forced into game 7. Dame, pull up, Dame time. It's good. 2-point game. Luka, can he match him on the other end? 35 seconds. I'm on the edge of my seat right now. In the NBA Finals, Luka, one-on-one with Dame. They're going back and forth. Austin Reeves again. Luka trying to get open with a LeBron screen. LeBron open. He pulls it. LeBron, it's off. Luka the board. His lay. It's no good. Luka fight, but it might be off of Giannis. Timeout. No way. I could have sworn that rolled off of Giannis out of bounds after they were fighting for the board, but no matter. The Bucks have it now. Luka guarding Damian Lillard. Can he do it again? He got it within 2 last time. Lillard burning some clock. They're swinging it around. They're going to Giannis. It's going to be Giannis in the clutch here. Giannis down low in the post. Giannis, the fake. His hook. Giannis. It's off! The Lakers win! They hold on to force the game 7. And as the Lakers smoked the Bucks out of the water in game 7 for revenge from the 2021 finals, they were completing both of their final goals, establishing themselves as the greatest duo to ever play. But we still had to answer the question on who was the GOAT. And with the trophies all tied up, it would all come down to who wins this year's Finals MVP.
This year's Bill Russell Finals MVP goes to Luka Doncic.